And her answer to that, to being an introvert and having trouble just putting yourself out there, was that because you are an introvert and that's uncomfortable for you, it goes against your nature and your character, just know that it's always going to be uncomfortable. And after you send a lot of invites, or maybe you post a really vulnerable post on social media, it's going to drain your energy. That's just the way that you're wired. But if you know that, then you can mentally gear up to send all those invites, and you can use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hurry and bust out all those invites or that post or whatever, and then kind of sit back and take some deep breaths and realize that, yeah, my energy is drained, but that's normal for me. That's just how it goes. And then give yourself that space or that grace or whatever you need to recover that energy drain that doing that action caused. She said that being an introvert, it can stop you, or you can choose to push through because your goals matter more to you than feeling uncomfortable. So I like that she pointed that out, because I feel like a lot of us are introverts and it's not natural for us to, you know, be all extroverted and, hey, come join me, and this is so awesome, and, you know, putting our whole lives on social media. But if you can just know that that's the way it's going to be for you, and it's always kind of going to be just a little bit uncomfortable, then you can just overcome it and expect it and be prepared for it. And if you guys have any comments on any of this or questions, just feel free to jump in. And then another coach came on and said, how do I get that life balance between my family and my work and all my other stuff? Like, how do I create balance in my life? And she said to stop trying for balance because it doesn't exist. She said, if you focus on progress, then it will make more sense and you'll be happier. She also said to focus on quality instead of quantity. She said you can spend your whole day with your kids and not be present, just like you can spend your whole day on your business and not actually get anything done. So if you focus on progress and if you focus on quality over quantity, then your life will feel more balanced. And you'll be making progress on your goals. And you won't feel like you're always in one area instead of, you know, I mean, most of us are moms. So, I mean, we have all these distractions and getting pulled in a lot of different directions. But if we put in a quality power hour and then we turn it off and we spend quality time with our kids, you know, throughout the day, then I think we'll feel a lot better about what we're trying to accomplish. The next question was, how do I deal with rejection? And Mel's answer was that you need to realize that rejection is not personal. Rejection is math. Rejection is just something you have to go through to get to the yeses. She said, so take the emotions out of it, take yourself out of it, and treat it like math. Treat it like data. Like, okay, I have to get through 10 no's, get to my yes. And then maybe you have a half an hour of your day or wherever where you actually go for rejection. Like, your goal is to get rejected as much as possible in half an hour. And so you can get that part out of the way, get that math equation going, so that you can get to some of your yeses. She said to treat it like a workout. You know, we put in at 30 to 60 minutes of hard work on our bodies, and then we're done, and that gets us the results, you know, day in, day out. As our muscles recover and we get stronger, then we can get to the results that we're looking for. Rejection's the same way. It's the hard work that you have to put in to get the results that you want later on. So I like that she put those two together. Then she talked about having 2 different boards. So she talked about having a vision board. And I'm sure lots of us have done a vision board, or we know about vision boards. But then this was a different idea that she had that I hadn't thought of before. She said have an impact board. So have a board where you put up all the little victories that you get. Like, you get a challenger who's so excited that she finally lost that 10 pounds, or someone who finally fit into a pair of pants, or even victories for yourself, like I got a sale today, or you accomplished one of your goals. Anybody who says thank you or gives you a testimonial, put all those on a board so that when you're going through the muck of getting rejected, you can look up at that board and you can be inspired that you are making a difference and that there are people out there who appreciate what you're trying to do. I don't know how many times as I'm, just chatting with people on Messenger, they'll be like, oh, I'm not interested, but I really do love your posts. You really do motivate me to do better. That is something that you could put on your impact board, because it totally counts. Like, you are making a positive impact on that person. And it doesn't matter if they're not going to be a customer. You're still making a difference. So I liked that idea of having an impact board. And it's kind of like what Carl Deichler does. If you guys don't know, our CEO, he has giant binders of the transformations that people send into Beachbody, with their pictures and their stories. Like, he has just this huge binder. And I know that he uses that to inspire him to keep going and to keep building this business that he has. So I liked that idea. Then the next question was self-doubt. How do I deal with self-doubt? And she said, you know what? Doubtful feelings are totally normal. Letting it stop you, though, is a choice. So letting those doubts run through your head over and over again is a total habit. And I feel like we all have it. I feel like it's kind of like a natural human tendency to just have those negative, doubtful thoughts running through our heads, especially when we're trying to do something like we are. But we don't have to let it be a decision. Sorry, I'm trying to mute Tracy because she's maybe.
I'm hearing.
Hey, Tracy, can you hear me? Can you mute yourself?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me?
The Zoom thing. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you just put me?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I just tried to get on video and I couldn't, so.
Oh, that's okay. You can just listen. Just mute yourself so we can't hear your background noise.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so self-doubt. So we break the habit of self-doubt and those cyclical thoughts in our brain by taking action. And then every time you take action, you get a little bit of self-confidence, and you are slowly changing the way that you see yourself. And that will change the way that you think about yourself and, those thoughts that come in your head. She said, this is like a quotable quote here, girls. If you have a problem that can be solved with action, you don't have a problem. So much harder to doubt yourself when you're taking action. So I loved that quote. Loved it. And I have, as I worked with some of my coaches who were just like kind of wishy-washy on whether they wanted to do this or not, I always say, how do you feel about your business when you're actually working your business? And they're always like, well, I feel good about it. I'm talking to people, I'm getting some prospects. Well, when is it that you don't feel good about your business? Oh, when you're feeling doubtful, are you actually working your business? They never are. Like, if you are feeling doubtful and feeling like this isn't going to work for you, it's usually times when you're not putting in the effort. It's kind of like a person, like our challengers, when they're like, I don't know if this program's for me. I'm just not seeing the results that I have. And you say, well, have you been doing the workouts every day? Well, no, I've been doing it like 3 or 4 times a week. Have you been following nutrition? Not really. Then, it's the same with their businesses. If you're not putting in the work that's required, you're not going to feel good about it. You're not going to see results. So just take action, you guys. I have noticed when I do my power hours, I'm consistent. I feel good about what I'm doing, even if I'm not seeing a ton of sales or whatever coming through. So just make sure to take that action, especially when you're feeling doubtful, because I promise you'll feel better. Just sit down and message 5 people. Even if it's just a thank you or happy birthday or whatever, you'll feel so much better. The last idea she had was how to combat overwhelm, like when you're just feeling super overwhelmed. And she just said just to take a few minutes a day and just brain dump everything that's running through your mind, like, that endless task list that we always have in our brains, or when, and I think did she say to do this at night? I can't remember if she said to do it at night or when to do it, but I know when I lay down to go to sleep, that's when I remember the 10 or 15 things I forgot to do that day. Like, oh crap, I was supposed to follow up with this person, and oh yeah, I was supposed to do this. I actually have a pen and a paper on my nightstand where I just write all that stuff down, so it doesn't just keep running through my head and I'm hoping I'll remember it when I wake up in the morning, because I never do. So I just write it down, and then it's just out of my head, and I don't have those thoughts just rolling around in my brain all day. So same thing, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just write down everything that's in your brain, just literally like word vomit on a piece of paper. And then you can look at it and you can pick out the actual tasks that you need to get done to take that overwhelm away. Because sometimes when we're overwhelmed, we're actually like, we have brain fog at the same time, and it just feels like this big muddy ball of mush in our brains. And it's not like an actual task list that we can tackle. So if you kind of brain dump it out on a piece of paper, then you can see those tasks, or maybe you make sense of it as it's written, and then do those 2 or 3 things that will give you progress that we talked about at the start of the call, that will, help you like take little bites out of your goal and get you to where you want to be. So I think that's all I have. I like to keep the calls short. I think we're going to try to keep our calls, between 20 and 40 minutes, so that you guys can have that time either with your family or to work your own businesses. But the one thing she did say, just to end her call, was that if you want to change, you can. And she said the 5-second rule will work if you want it to, which I totally agree with, because when I first started reading her book, she's talking about getting up early, and I was at a place where I was fighting mono, and I wasn't getting up till like 7, and I was working out in the middle of the morning, and I didn't follow her advice because I didn't want to change. But then when I started doing 80-day obsession and we had to get up at 5, then I took her rules because I needed them. I needed to change. I was at a place where I needed to change and wanted to change. So I feel like all this will work if you want it to. We have to want to. So I think that's all I have. Does anyone want to add anything or have any questions? I hope that was helpful. Yeah, Taylor was on the call too, so tell me what you thought.
I was not actually on that call. No,
I thought you were.
I had just read her book, and but I did want to say, so I'm an introvert too. I think most of us are. When you were talking about being an introvert and how to like just push through. So like tonight, I wanted to go to Victoria's Secret. I wanted to get the bra and pant deal that they have going on. And so like when I want to do little stuff like that, I make sure that my business is done first and foremost. And I press send on all those invites. And then I'm like, okay, now I can go do what I want. I reward myself along the way. So when you're an introvert, reward yourself, do whatever it takes that you have to do to get those big tasks done and get them in and out of the way. And then you don't have to worry about it. Like, I know if I don't get them done, then I just end up grumpy. And like when Chris is home, I'm grouchy with him. Just get it done, get it out of the way, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's all I wanted to add. Yeah, totally. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, if you just do it, you feel good about it. But if you have it hanging over your head all day and you're just procrastinating it, then you feel like crap. And I do like the idea of rewards. I do that too. Like, sometimes I'm like, Kate, if I just put in like a super great hour right now, then I can go watch Netflix with my kids and not have to feel guilty that I'm just wasting time watching TV because I put in the work. And another thing I was thinking too, if you are an introvert, maybe play around with what works better for you. Maybe it works better for you to knock out that uncomfortable stuff first when you sit down to work. Or maybe you like to do the easy stuff first, but make sure you leave yourself time. Just make sure you don't run out of time. And then you just like write down the names, hurry and like copy paste all those invites, send them, and then you have that time to shut off and like recuperate that energy drain that she talked about. So just play around with it especially if that's your personality, like, and figure out what works best for you. And just make sure that you're taking the action. That's the most important part. Mm-hmm. I think McCall was on that with me, and she is not on us here with us. So, but okay. Well, if no one has anything else, just wanting to make sure that you know about Super Saturday. It's on April 7th. And I don't know if there's anything else coming up that we need to know about. If you're going to Summit, we probably should start looking at flights and stuff and letting us leaders know about hotel rooms, because I think most of us have a couple. We have spots, so we need to see if.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Tracy.
Yeah.
When and where is Super Saturday?
It's a local event. Tracy, you're in Wyoming, right?
Yeah, but I come back and forth sometimes.
Okay, so if you're in Utah, then it's downtown.
Oh, okay.
And I'll post the Salt Lake information on the team page, but if you're not going to be in Utah, then you can look up your own local area.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see y'all on the team page then. Hope you all have a good payday tomorrow. See you.